So these are the focused areas and as well as key knowledges as a guideware developer. Whenever we are focusing on any interview, because this is something which I'm explaining you for the people who are applying for interviews, right? So who are approaching for interviews or who are planning to attend for any interviews as a guideware developer. So many people have some because I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of messages from various people across different places about orientation, right? So what are the areas that being a guideware developer I need to focus, right? So what is that something which I must be focused more on? So in regard to that, I'm just making this video, which is an instant random video I'm making, not something which I planned earlier, right? So an instant video I'm making. I hope this might be useful to many people who are looking for any career transformation or attending for interviews or that. So, as a guideware developer, the first and foremost thing must be having some knowledge over the modules. Either it can be policy center, or it can be billing, or it can be claims. Any one or two or three of your experience. So, understanding the EA part is important because uh, many people ignore the part, okay, because guideware developer is all about the developer studio, understanding gosu programming, excellent. This is all needed, but apart from that, understanding UI is also one of the key and important element we have to follow, right? So that is point number one, right? So understanding over the policy center about the policies, claims, bill creation, updation, editing, so all that. Next, knowing about rating part, workflow, data model, at the same time configurations, right? So majorly two things. One is of configuration, second is integration, you know that, right? So policy center, or it can be billing, it can be premium billings or agency billing, or it can be commission plans. When it comes to the claims and all, claim processing, adjudication, claim settlements also. Overall, UI understanding and UI experience is required for guideware developer, which is an additional advantage. That is point number one. Second, when you want to understand about the focus areas, these are the focus areas that we need to focus more on. So these are the focus areas, and second is about the key knowledge that are to be acquired. Uh, yeah, yeah. So these are the focused areas, and these are the key knowledges, right? So when it comes to these are all the focused knowledge, focus areas. Whatever I was mentioning over here, these are all the focused areas that we need to mention all these. Next about these are the key knowledges we must be good and familiar with. Okay, right. So as far as the first one about the programming part, we know because normally Gosu even we run on Java virtual machine, right? So Gosu programming basic syntaxes are important for you to know because syntax level differences you see from Java to Gosu, but knowing about the syntaxes are important. At the same time, we must be knowing about what are the different class structures and how different are those. At the same time, enhancements, type lists. So these are the key knowledges required when you are applying for any attending for any interviews or applying for any jobs as a guideware developer. Learning on Gosu programming, these are important. One is syntax, you must be well versed. Next, class structure, you must be good with enhancements, type list, all that. Next, configuration is also another focused area because guideware developer, we have two roles. Configuration developer, some people ask for integration developer. So when it comes to the configuration developer, when you are applying for configuration developer or you are projecting that yourself, you are a configuration developer and all, we must be knowing about the PCF files. That is important, right? So configuration files and all that. So at the same time, we must be well versed with entity extensions, what we have followed by the type list. So this is all something when we are focusing on the configuration perspective. Whatever the PCF files we have, entity extensions, type list, all that. If you are applying for integration, okay, when you are, because integration means integrating from policy center to billing, billing to claims, claims to billing, claims to policy center to any CRM or ERP applications or any external applications like Workday or something, right? So that's all about the integration part. In integration, we must be well versed with API integration. Either it can be RESTful API is something that we use, SOAP or RESTful API and all that. So web services understanding is always desirable, important for us, knowing about web services. SOAP, UDT, WSDL, RESTful API, and what are the different methods that we have in API. Where it can be get method, post, update. These are the basics. Okay, so that's not a big deal for you to learn. So that is important. At the same time, one of the important thing learning under an integration about message queues. What are the different message queues we have, and how and where are these being implemented? So this is also one of the key focused area, the knowledges that we need to acquire. Next, learning about batch processing. That's important. What are the list of batch processing we have, and how do we do this chunking workers? So this is also another focused area because this is an underrated area. Many people ignores. But batch processing and batch processing files, this is all something really knowledge important for you when you are learning or when you are applying for any interviews or something. Next about the plugins, right? So plugins and extensions is also needed, and how these implementing and how are we overriding the behaviors, right? So different plugins, because in the last previous to last, I think I made a video on one plugin. You can go through the recent videos that I have posted so that you get some idea over that. So plugins and extensions also, we know how this can be used and how this can be implemented. Okay, overriding behavior that we need to know. Next, about the events and rules. What are the different events and rules we have? Either it can be business rules or it can be underwriting. Because if you are focusing on policy center and all that, so business rules, underwriting rules, activity patterns, all that, right? So you are going for billing and all that, then that is different, right? Premium billing, agency billing, all that. So when you're going for claims and all, we have underwriting rules, we have activity rules, we have exposure rules, sorry, right? So we have exposure rules to assess the risk in claims. This is all part of business rules you need to have. That's the reason why having some UA experience or UA knowledge is always mandatory for any developer. This is what something which I proposed and teach, and I teach as well. So business rules, at the same time, validations you must be knowing. You must be knowing about the triggers. This is all part of event and rules. Last but not least, database knowledge, understanding about the data model, right? So what data model configurations, how do we do, right? What are the different data types and data models that we use? And what are the different entities that we use, and how do we use these entities? This is also required. So these are out of my experience, out of my this thing I'm just giving, right? So I may be missing some points, but instantly as I'm making a video, major areas are these. One is about the programming part, as I'm stating earlier, repeating the same. Programming, syntaxes, class structures, all that. Next is configuration, knowing about PCF files, entity extensions, etc. Third one about integration, because web services, message queues, all that. Batch processing, processes, chunking, workers, and all. Plugins and extensions, like implementation, overridings, and all. Event rules, like business rules, exposure rules. At the same time, underwriting rules, activity patterns. At the same time, billing, premium billing, all that, agency billing, all that. Validations, database knowledge about data model, use of entities. These are all required because when I give interview orientation coaching, apart from regular coaching that I give as a Guidewire Developer, both policy center, configuration as well as integration and all, interview orientation is more important. So out of my interview orientation coaching that I provide for many of the people, these are the focus areas and the knowledges which I focus. That's what something which I want to share to all of you. So might be useful for your professional well-being. All the best for your future endeavors. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.